At the very least, I'll tell you this much. You do have the member of this show who has had very strong feelings on Patrick Queen becoming a Pittsburgh Steeler, and not great ones. And so it's only fair that I try to address all of this. Patrick Queen at 3 years, $41 million reportedly, is a lot different. I shouldn't say it's a lot different. It's different for me than what we had been hearing it might take to get Patrick Queen in the fold. The number, the going rate, was something like 16 to 18 million people were talking about. So you were like thinking to yourself, are they going to go with a 4-year deal? Or are they going to pay this guy really a lot of money? Obviously, the market flattened out. Guys who were considered comparable to him started going for less money. That probably should have been a tip that maybe the price was going to come down into the Steelers' range. I didn't think it would. It very clearly did. It is a considerably better deal at $13-ish million than it is at $18 million. $5 million or so in NFL money can buy you a decent amount. So I've got to organize my feelings here about this on the fly. I think we found out about it, at 158? That's good. That's always, the job is to be prepared to speak, and I am. But my head is spinning a little bit. I actually did not think they were going to get Patrick Queen. And I thought that if they did, they were going to wildly overpay. His price came down. I'll make what you would call a pro and con list, though, right now to start with. The pros are he was objectively good last year. There's no way to avoid that if you were a skeptic on this one. He allowed a passer rating against of 94.5. That's worse than it was last year when it was 83. Because this guy is an all seasons guy, as Mike Tomlin said. He can do a little bit of everything. He definitely can run with and mirror tight ends. He's an athlete. So he was pretty good the last 2 years, if you go by that metric. He allowed 2 touchdowns this past year, none the year before. 22 was truly a great year for him. But what I think has me pausing about this is the following on Patrick Queen. You look at his first 2 years in the league, a guy drafted in the back end of the first round in 2020. You look at his first 2 years, you do not see an impressive player. You see a guy who was really struggling to find himself. And then I think you see an obvious change here. Roquan Smith comes over in a blockbuster to the Ravens. The Ravens give Roquan Smith huge money. Roquan Smith, who, by the way, is now a 2-time first-team All-Pro. Roquan Smith, who is, outside of Fred Warner, perhaps the best inside linebacker in the business, although I think there's a gulf between Warner and everybody else. Patrick Queen, with Roquan Smith around, a lot different than Patrick Queen without Roquan Smith. Impossible for me, analytically speaking, to ignore that fact. And if you want to be charitable to Patrick Queen, you say, well, years 1 and 2 were rough. It's a tough position. It's very demanding. Linebackers have a lot asked of them in the NFL. It would stand to reason that he would get better in years 3 and 4.